Prince didn't just make music, he crafted galaxies with sound. But behind the velvet curtains and purple haze, he had opinions, and he wasn't shy about them. These are the 6 artists Prince famously hated, and trust me, some of them will shock you. 6. Michael Bolton, the voice Prince couldn't stand. Let's talk about Michael Bolton, the king of late 80s and 90s power ballads, the guy who could hold a note longer than most people hold relationships. He was a Grammy-winning, chart-dominating vocal powerhouse, and Prince absolutely could not stand him. Now, Prince never minced words when it came to music, and when he looked at Bolton, he didn't just see a singer, he saw a problem. To Prince, Bolton represented everything wrong with the industry at the time: safe, overproduced, and painfully generic. Where Prince poured his soul into experimentation and raw expression, Bolton was climbing charts by belting out songs that were technically perfect, but emotionally bland in Prince's eyes. The tension really came to a head when Bolton covered "When a Man Loves a Woman." Prince reportedly rolled his eyes at the rendition and dismissed it as karaoke soul. Ouch, that's like Picasso telling you your art belongs in a coloring book. And it wasn't just shade thrown in interviews. Prince was known to mock Bolton's vocal style during sound checks, and insiders say he once called Bolton's music the musical equivalent of white bread soaked in warm milk. But here's the kicker: Bolton was actually a fan of Prince. He praised his artistry in interviews and even said he'd love to collaborate someday. Prince's response? Silence. And trust, when Prince chooses silence, it speaks louder than a diss track. This wasn't about personal beef, it was about musical integrity. Prince viewed the art form as sacred, and anyone he thought was phoning it in or profiting without soul got the cold shoulder. Michael Bolton, for all his success, landed squarely in that camp. 5. Madonna, pop queen versus purple purist. You'd think 2 of the most iconic, genre-bending artists of the 80s would have shared a mutual respect. But when it came to Madonna, Prince had a complicated cocktail of admiration, suspicion, and straight-up side-eye. Now, the 2 did collaborate, kind of. In 1989, Prince played guitar on Like a Prayer, and they even recorded a duet called Love Song. But behind the scenes, it was less artistic synergy and more creative chaos. Prince reportedly found Madonna's attitude abrasive and her control freak tendencies exhausting. She, in turn, saw him as mysterious to the point of infuriating. There's this infamous dinner they had at his LA mansion. Candlelight, fancy dishes, classic Prince vibes, and what did he serve? Popcorn. Just popcorn. Madonna, who was expecting some Michelin-level treatment, was not amused. That night summed up their dynamic: Prince being eccentric and cryptic, Madonna wanting dominance and clarity. Musically, Prince felt Madonna was more brand than artist. He respected her hustle, but didn't believe she pushed musical boundaries the way he did. He once referred to her work as fast food pop, easy to consume, hard to remember. Despite the tension, Madonna called Prince brilliant in interviews, even after his death. But when asked if they were friends, she paused and said, "We had moments." Translation? Frenemies at best. Prince didn't hate Madonna the person, but he sure wasn't a fan of the way she ruled pop. To him, music wasn't a business, it was a spiritual thing, and anyone treating it like a marketing campaign, they were already on his blacklist. 4. Justin Timberlake, the borrower Prince couldn't forgive. When Justin Timberlake dropped Sexy Back, the world screamed innovation. But Prince, he just raised an eyebrow. See, to Prince, JT wasn't breaking ground. He was borrowing blueprints. The tension officially boiled over at the 2006 Emmy Awards. Prince had just said in an interview, "For whoever is claiming they're bringing Sexy back, Sexy never left." It was a subtle jab, but Justin clapped back hard, on stage. While accepting an award, he mocked Prince's height with, "For the short people who can't be here tonight." Yeah, bad move. Prince wasn't just a musician, he was a full-blown institution. So when Justin, the former boy bander, started channeling funk, soul, and vintage Prince aesthetics, it felt less like a tribute and more like identity theft. And then there was Give It To Me, Timberlake's 2007 song with Timbaland and Nelly Furtado. One line stood out: "We missed you on the charts last week." Damn, that's right, you wasn't there. It was a not-so-subtle jab at Prince, who didn't believe in releasing singles just to climb charts. To Prince, artistry was sacred. Timberlake's polished, commercial vibe felt shallow. He saw Justin not as the next generation, but as a flashy remix of the past. The ultimate twist: after Prince died in 2016, Justin performed a hologram tribute at the Super Bowl. Despite Prince's very public stance against holograms, fans were furious. The moment felt more like ego than honor. To the public, it was music history. To Prince, it was theft in high definition. Sucker 3, Maroon 5, the band that butchered a classic. Now here's where it gets almost painful. In 2012, Maroon 5, yes, Adam Levine and the band known for catchy hooks and radio-polished pop, took a swing at covering Prince's iconic Kiss during an appearance on The Howard Stern Show. On paper, that's a gutsy move. Kiss isn't just any song. It's a lightning bolt of funk minimalism, raw sexuality, and attitude packed into under 4 minutes. But what Maroon 5 delivered wasn't gutsy. It was beige, polished, clean, and completely lacking the razor-sharp edge that made the original sizzle. Now, Prince didn't publicly comment on the cover. No tweets, no interviews, no eye roll captured on video, but anyone who understood the man knew. His silence wasn't approval, it was judgment. According to people close to him, he thought the cover was weak, emotionless, and, perhaps the biggest insult in Prince's book, completely unnecessary. Because here's the deal: Prince wasn't against people covering his music, not at all. But he believed with his whole chest that if you're going to take on a masterpiece, you better bring something new, something bold. Otherwise, leave it alone. And Maroon 5, they didn't bring bold, they brought safe. They brought Spotify Core. Their version smoothed out all the sexy weirdness of Kiss, traded grit for gloss, and basically turned it into background music for a mall clothing store. Prince was a man who broke the mold with every note, and to him, the worst sin you could commit in music wasn't a bad performance, it was a boring one. Kiss is a fingerprint. You can't just copy it, you have to live it. Every pause, shriek, falsetto, and funk riff in the original is pure, unfiltered Prince. It's seductive and chaotic and weird in all the right ways. Maroon 5 treated it like a pop exercise. Prince treated it like sacred ground. And the real sting: Prince believed pop music should challenge the listener. It should provoke, experiment, shake the foundation a little. He didn't mind flashy production, but he hated musical comfort food. And to him, Maroon 5 was exactly that. Clean, inoffensive, mass-market filler. Maybe good for streaming numbers, but not for pushing the culture forward. So while Prince never called them out by name, his philosophy was loud enough. If you're going to step into his world, don't bring a lukewarm take. Bring fire, or get out of the kitchen. Number 2, Justin Timberlake. From protege to problem. Once upon a time, Prince and Justin Timberlake were on somewhat neutral ground. Timberlake was riding the high of future sex, harsh love sounds, and Prince, ever the watchful veteran, was observing from the royal balcony. But then came the 2007 Golden Globes. While accepting an award, Prince couldn't make it on stage because of a snowstorm. So Justin Timberlake did what many thought was a harmless joke. He mockingly stooped down as if to mimic Prince's famously short stature. It was meant to be funny. The Prince didn't laugh. What followed was a quiet Cold War. When Timberlake dropped his track, Give It To Me, with Timbaland and Nelly Furtado, there was a pointed line: "We missed you on the charts last week." Damn, that's right. You weren't there. Many took it as a direct jab at Prince, who had just said in an interview that sexy never left, a clear counter to Justin's sexy back. Petty? Maybe. But Prince was never one to let subliminals go unchecked. So what did he do? At one of his own concerts, Prince invited a woman on stage, handed her a bottle of vitamin water and said, "For all you're bringing sexy back." Yeah, that happened. For Prince, Timberlake represented a kind of commercialized swagger that borrowed heavily from the legends but lacked the soul. Prince respected talent, but he also respected originality. And in his eyes, Justin was borrowing too much without paying homage. Their feud never got explosive, but it simmered in the background, a case of one artist feeling mocked and the other too pop-slick to care. Number 1. Eric Clapton. Why is he God? Prince respected guitar gods, Hendrix, Santana, and even lesser-known shredders. He could vibe with talent. But when it came to Eric Clapton being hailed as the guitar deity, Prince was not clapping along. There's a famous interview clip from decades back. Someone asks Clapton, "So what's it like to be the greatest guitarist alive?" And Clapton, with a totally straight face, replies, "I don't know, ask Prince." At first glance, that sounds like humility. Like, yeah, Prince is better, but some folks close to Prince felt like that line was patronizing. Prince himself, oh, he noticed, and he wasn't buying the flattery. You see, Clapton was technically skilled, but his blues rock style was clean, safe, even kind of stiff. Prince was electric chaos in heels. He played with soul, fire, and flair, so when critics and fans routinely ranked Clapton above him, it was like telling Picasso that a coloring book artist had more control. Not only did Prince think the hype around Clapton was overblown, he flat out found it boring. There's also the deeper layer, Clapton's history with controversial remarks, including problematic views on race. Prince, who built his entire artistry around black liberation and identity, had zero tolerance for that kind of energy. So yeah, Prince might have nodded politely in public, but in private, Clapton wasn't a guitar god. He was just another guy playing scales while Prince was busy ripping portals open on stage with a solo. So there you have it, 6 artists, 6 distinct moments where Prince, the purple prophet of funk and fire, made it crystal clear that he wasn't here to play nice with the music industry's golden children. From calling out Justin Timberlake for swagger jacking, to brushing off Madonna's self-promotional spectacle, to rolling his eyes at Maroon 5's watered-down funk, Prince never bit his tongue, and that's what made him so different. He didn't just make music, he lived it. And if you were fake, formulaic, or just flat-out overhyped in his eyes, you weren't getting a pass, no matter how many Grammys you had. Prince wasn't petty, he was principled. He didn't hate artists just for existing. He hated what they represented when it diluted the art form he loved. He fought the system, dodged labels, reclaimed his masters, and shredded egos with the same ferocity he used on a guitar solo. And in doing so, he carved out a legacy that wasn't just about music, it was about meaning. If you made it this far, you're probably a fan of music with substance, and stories that reveal the messy, beautiful chaos behind it. So don't just scroll past this moment. Tap that like button if Prince made you feel something. Hit subscribe if you want more deep dives into the stories they never tell on music award stages. And tell us in the comments, which Prince diss surprised you the most? Or better yet, who escaped his wrath that totally deserved to be on this list? Because one thing's for sure, Prince didn't care who you were. If you were phony, he saw it. If you were bland, he felt it. And if you were bold, well, you might have earned his silence, which in Prince's world was probably the greatest compliment of all.